Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Advaitam. Where is happiness? We have countless desires, still sometime or the other, all the things we love is going to leave us. This is certain. Instead of being separated from the things we love by a death, if we forego the desires, we can be that much happy. We tie ourselves up with as many knots as there are desires. As we cut down on desires, the cause of unhappiness and sorrow also reduces. If we can completely relinquish all such desires before this lifetime is over, we do not have to suffer this separation from God and can totally become one with Him. We take pride that as a human being, we have some special attributes as compared to other animals. What does man do different from other animals? Dogs, hyenas, birds, big and small, and even roaches eat, procreate, and die one day. Generally, man does not seem to be doing anything other than these very activities. In addition, he has added on to his needs as wealth, name and fame, position and prestige, and so on. So, what can he be so proud about? What are those special attributes that sets man apart? Whatever his capabilities, there does not seem to be anything worthwhile. Has he found the way for everlasting happiness and peace? Is it not the purpose or motivation behind all our actions, our growth, aspirations, education, employment, profession? Almost everything seems to be aimed at attaining happiness. Does man find that happiness? If we think deeply, we will come to know that what we refer to as this seen world, this jnanam, this happiness, this we are all the same. When we get the knowledge as to who we are, we will know that happiness is our real self. We are not getting happiness from things outside. Happiness springs from within ourselves. Or, in other words, happiness is our very being. Forgetting our original self, even when we are deeply immersed in ignorance, we get thrilled when we think of something as our own. This connection with ourself makes all the difference. When that connection is served, happiness becomes a marriage. This can be easily derived from the famous Tamil proverb, Kaakaikum tan kunju pon kunju, meaning that even for the crow, its offspring is golden. When your own child or grandchild, as a baby, is prattling, we will say, how beautiful and what a nice way to express. And if it happened to be someone else's child, we are likely to say, what nonsense is that baby prattling? This is the very cause of narrow selfishness. If we understand this crunch issue, we can all become broad minded instead of being too selfish with narrow parochialism. However, Perival gives another novel example. I'll give you another example. Let us say that someone has some landed property of his own. In the beginning, his land gives increased produce and profit every year. Because the land is his, it gives him pleasure when the profit increases. Let us say for some reasons, it becomes less profitable. After some time, he sells the land. A year or so later, the same land has a bumper crop. Think of the earlier owner's heartburn. I'll give you yet another example. Many parents bring their children saying that they have something wrong with their head or brain and that I should do something about it. One father acted differently. He was married for a second time. There was no love lost between the son and the second wife. The father was siding with his present wife. He told me, "You see, sir, my son was trying to harm my wife. Luckily, now he has gone mad." He was happy with the fact that his son had gone mad because the feeling that the son is his had gone, and so he was happy that his wife is not harmed. Think for a moment now that when some connection to me and mine, even when submerged in Maya, can give you so much happiness, imagine how much can be the level of happiness when you are totally connected to yourself, devoid of Maya. When we add jaggery or sugar to a bitter vegetable, we know that it will taste a little sweet. There can be no doubt that it means that jaggery by itself should be and is very sweet. Carrying the same analogy forward, when even the intangible connection of me, mine, and ours can give us this sweet happiness, how much more should be the happiness level of the unalloyed, uncorrupted, pure self? When you cover a lamp by a perforated shade, some light will be seen. When you remove the covering or break the covering of Maya, we can see the brilliant light of the light. The Atma Deepa, even when covered by Maya, gives us some light through the holes of the senses. When you break the Maya, we can become Jyotirmaya. Depending on the size of the holes, though the quantum of light coming out may be differing, the inside light source is one. If we break through Maya, all the differences of the world will vanish and will be seen as Jyoti Swarupa, or the very form of effulgence. How to break through this Maya? The answer is to quell the desires. For that, the mind should be quelled. It is incorrect to think that when the mind is quelled, we would become incapable of thinking or reasoning and logical analysis, and so powerless and inert. Instead, this is the most powerful state. Normally, we see that those with some deficiency in the functioning of one limb are better in something else. So, if we close all these senses or bring them under control, then all of them, all our powers will be concentrated. We will be more efficient. We can do more good. The rishis of yore and their powers should be quoted here. They could have the powers to move in all the worlds. They could move from the past to the future and back. They could hear the mantras inaudible to us. They are the mantra drashtas, or those who could see the mantras. It is they who were called as the seers. They gave us the Vedas. If your question is as to how to control this mind and as to how to quell these desires, the way is to take the first steps. Start with simple moral principles. Adherence to one principle of telling the truth and not lying can eventually lead to a state when whatever you say will become the truth. In the end, you can attain to total bliss. May God bless. Chapter 11, Advaitam. He will come forward to receive us. When the sea is static, if some wind blows, some droplets become bubbles. With the next wind, they are broken. God is like the static ocean. By the movement of Maya, we come into being like the bubbles. When the Guru's kataksham or his sidelong glance falls on us, we lose our separateness and become one with the Paramatma, just like the droplet of water merging with the ocean again. The quantum of water in the ocean remains the same forever. The steam from the ocean becomes the cloud, and then it becomes the rains pouring on the mountains, becoming a trickle, a rivulet, filling the lakes and ponds, flowing in the rivers and canals, filling up the wells and becoming so many such water sources. Somewhere they dry up and elsewhere they overflow. On summer days, the taps may go dry. When Red Hills Lake is dried up, Chennai may have water scarcity. In the rainy season, there may be floods in Godavari, but not a drop of water has reduced on the earth as it was at the time of its creation. Neither has a drop been added. Some rich people sell their lands and deposit it in the bank, take money from the bank and convert it into shares. Total asset will not change. Changes occur only in the nama and rupa, meaning name and shape. If correctly calculated, both sides of the account book will tally. The total water has to be either in the ocean or wells or lakes or canals or ponds or rivers or icebergs or clouds or mist or fog or frost or humidity, and the water content in plants, animals, fishes, birds, and human beings. Paramatma is seen as all the things of the world. Even after such manifestation, like the ocean, he is neither added to nor reduced. To us, it will look as though there is addition and subtraction, but with the knowledge that all put together makes the universe, we know that there can be no additions or subtractions. While talking about the relation between Jivatma and Paramatma, that is, individual soul and the Supreme One, and comparing it with water and its relation to the various forms, we must consider the rivers particularly. While all other water sources and forms are created or replenished by rains, the rivers flow towards the ocean and merge. There is a river known as the Son. Sonam means red. This river flows through areas with red sand. In Andhra, which flows through black soil and hence of the color of black and hence called the Krishna. Ganga is white. Its name is also derived from the type of soil the river flows through. They all join the same ocean. Red indicates Rajoguna, black represents Tamoguna, and white stands for Sattvaguna. Jivatma gets his attitude and behavior similarly moderated by the preponderant guna of his environment. Whatever it is, finally, he has to merge in the ocean of Paramatma. We have the famous saying, water finds its level. When the water falls in the mountains, it flows with tremendous force. In the plains, it is less vociferous. When it reaches the ocean, it is silent. Then only it reaches its level. On reaching its level, it also becomes quiet. In any context, when the action is within levels and within limits, it leads to Shanti, that is peace. Some people may be impressed temporarily by actions which are beyond limits and levels. While impressing others, we may end up depressing ourselves. When the river finally discards its rolling and twisting and in all humbleness comes towards the ocean itself comes forward to meet and welcome the river. That is why the river water becomes salty some distance inland. Without crossing the limits, within the levels, in all humbleness, if we approach God, He will come forward to receive us and enable us to merge into Him. Chapter 12 Maya. Buddhism holds that everything is Maya, in which there is nothing real and true. This is known as Sunyata. Advaitam does not contribute to this view. It says, yes, this entire universe is Maya only, but the basis for all this is Brahman. That Brahman is the truth and the only truth. Some people ask, how can we call this world as unreal? There are so many things, events, happenings to which we are witness. Then there are so many things, events, happenings to which we are witness. Then how can all this be called Maya or just appearances? They think that Maya refers to something which has no basis of existence whatsoever. Maya is not totally unreal. It is not atyanta asat or totally false like the horns of a hare or a flower in the sky or the child of an infertile woman. It is like a mirage which is real till you believe in it. There is no water in the mirage. You cannot drink it and quench your thirst. Even when you know that it is not there, it is seen to be there. World is like that. The world does not disappear in the eyes of the Jnani. They know that the world is not the permanent reality. A rope is wrongly seen to be a snake. It is true that there is no snake in the rope. Still, till the time that the rope is considered to be a snake, that unreal snake causes in us all the reactions and fear that a real snake would have caused. Despite the fact that the snake is unreal, that we sweated and were afraid is real. Exactly similarly, we respond to this world. When we know the rope to be a rope, all our reactions to the unreal snake will cease. Similarly, when we know that the reality of the world is because of its being dependent upon the Parabrahman, our fears and apprehensions will vanish. This world is not Atyanta Asat. It is a temporary truth. It is an appearance that persists till Jnanam is obtained. After attaining to Jnana, it does not totally disappear but seen by others to be true. It is like the reality of the dream. The dream is real till the dream lasts. In the same way, this world is real till Jnanam. So, instead of Atyanta Asat, another term, Pratibhasik Satyam, is used to describe it. The seashells are seen to be coated or covered by silver. Like that, the world shines in Brahman in temporary reality. For the realized, Maya is only a zero, non-entity. For the unrealized, he thinks of himself as a digit and adds the zero on his left side, as the zero makes the number into tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, and zillions. For the unrealized, Maya expands into infinite many and seen as true. Jnani, or the realized, sees the world as it is, as a number of small forms or dolls made of sugar. The same Brahman has become all this. If there is doll of a bitter god, a child will avoid it, think it to be bitter. The realized know that it is also sugar only. Jnani knows that the entire universe is Anandamaya Brahman. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is bitter to us is sweet to him. What is black for us is white to him. What is daylight for us is the darkness of the night for him. The light of Brahman is dark for us. The darkness of Maya illumines the world. How can this happen? Is a question to be asked. Even Maya, depending on Brahman, gets some reflection of the reality and the world shines in reflected glory. This reduced light is what that reaches our senses. We can see and read in that. The black letters of the print are seen only in the reduced reflected light. The light, pun intended, in the direct sunlight, if we open the book, we don't see anything. In the brilliant true light of reality, we will be blinded. We see the world movements in the dim light of Maya. In the Atma Prakasha of the Jnani, the world movements vanish. This is the meaning of Jnani's day is our night, that he is ever enlightened and we are ever in the dark of reality. Om Shri Mahaperiyava Sharanam.